I wanted to talk to you for a second. get that faster. Wait, whole, half, whole. And then half. I don't know. Half.
what did Marcia ask you to work on right here? What are you working on? Well, are you just playing through it for fun? Is that what you're doing? You're just playing through and fixing little spots as they come up? Is that what you're doing? I'm just asking. I mean, do you have a plan right now, or are you just playing through and fixing? It's a legitimate question, Ella. Is this going to be a 5 seconds? I don't have to answer, Mom, and I don't want ice cream and playtime later? Because you're going to get a consequence for not answering me. You're not going to get a consequence for saying, hey, Mom, you know, I really just want to play through it right now, or whatever your answer is. But you don't get to just stand there with a sourpuss expression on your face and expect to get a nice mommy out of it. It's not happening. It's a legitimate question. I'm just asking you what your focus is right now. And if you don't have a focus and you just say, hey, Mom, I didn't really have a focus, that's fine.
I don't have a focus, but I'm just trying to, I don't know, see how it is.
Well, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Because if that's what you're doing, that's what it sure sounds like you're doing, and that's fine. And how do you know what you're going to fix? Because yesterday on the list, I suggested that you play through it, not fix things, but play through it and record it and listen to it and then make some notes. Because there are lots of little things to fix, but they're not going to really get fixed, in my opinion, by just going and then moving on. How are you going to remember? Did you mark it? I'm asking you to be a little more systematic about it. And yes, it's absolutely fine to just play it through sometimes. But just be aware that this 15 minutes that you're just playing it through, is that how you really, what are you fixing? And what are you really working on? What do you, at the end of this 15 minutes, are you going to be able to say, I fixed such and such? Or I played it through and I made some notes on what I'm going to work on tomorrow. I want you to have a plan. And if the plan is just to have fun for 15 minutes, that's okay too. Just make sure that your sourpuss response is worth what you're doing. Because I'm not going to have someone in the living room that if I walked up to and asked a question, they're going to look at me like, eh. So either you're going to apologize for your crappy little attitude you're having right now, or we're going to have a very large problem.
Sorry for being rude.
Okay, so please find some focus for what you're doing. Whatever it is, if you want to continue to play through it, please record it for yourself so you can take some notes on it. Because I don't think it's always Marcia's job to listen to a run through and call you back and say, Ella, this is what I noticed in measure 3. This is your job. Okay? Sammy? Good.
There's pee right here. Where? On the rug right here. Do you do anything that'll clean it up?
Okay, I don't understand what you're doing, but it doesn't look like you're practicing to me. Are you recording this
Yes.
on your telephone?
No.
Well, so how are you going to listen to it later? You're not practicing, you're just playing it through, and when you slip up on something, you correct it. So what you're doing is you're teaching yourself that when you make a mistake, you go over it and fix it right there, but you don't fix it, you just replay it. Replaying something is not fixing it. And it sounds awful. It sounds like somebody's playing a piece and going twinkle, a twinkle, a twinkle, a twinkle, twinkle, a twinkle, little star, how I wonder, wonder, how I wonder. Does that sound like a piece to you? Would you want to listen to someone play that? I wouldn't. You're standing up there with a rotten expression on your face. You're just playing over things as soon as you make a mistake, and you're not really working hard. Half of the time you play it, it looks like you're trying to make it sound beautiful, and the other half of the time, it looks like you're trying to make it sound perfect. And when you're trying to make it sound perfect, it doesn't sound like music. It sounds like someone trying to make it sound perfect. You're not using vibrato on the notes that Eugene asked you to, and you're not, every time you play them without vibrato, you won't be playing them with vibrato in your lesson. Because people play in their lesson exactly what they practice. And if I sound grumpy about it, it's because I already went over there and asked you. And you continued on doing exactly what you were doing, and you didn't pay attention to me at all. So as far as I'm concerned, you owe me 15 more minutes of extra practice for the last 15 minutes that you wasted. I can't believe that Marcia asked you to play it through and fix things as you went along. Is that what she instructed you to do when she got off the phone? What did she tell you to practice or request that you practice?
She just said to practice what I wanted.
She said to practice what you wanted? Okay, that's great. So she left it up to you. So now I'm finding out that if Marcia leaves it up to you, that you're not going to practice. So she said, don't play any of my worksheets. Don't pick any sections. Just play it through and fix as you go along. That's what you think she'd like to look at when she watches this video? So when she watches the video, is she going to say, wow, Ellie, you really worked hard on such and such? Because she's usually pretty complimentary. Do you think she's going to be complimentary? So here's the deal. I'm going to count to 5. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000 inside my head every time I ask you a question. And if I don't get an answer by the time I hit 5, 1,000, you're going to write for me 25 times. I will answer questions that my mommy asks me. Every time I ask a question and you don't answer in 5 seconds. Starting now. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. So, turn off the recording and make a list of what you're going to practice, for how long, and what you need to practice, and then take a picture of it and send it to Marcia when you send your final video. So turn the movie off, make a list, practice the list, and record the practice.